pmnation.com.
Warning, all natural being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Well. Looky here. Hey, it's 11 a.m. in the East Coast. I have to tell you, I've got so much to apologize for. That'll take like 20 minutes of the show. But hey, it's Brian. You're an all-natural being for our 80. Well, this is kind of like 82.5 episode because we tried this morning. Bad weather. Who knows? Whatever was happening. But the show just sounded like crap. I mean, it was horrible. Like, people were texting in going, oh, you sound like Darth Vader. Oh, I sounded even worse than Darth Vader. So thank you for everyone. I want to thank Oliver. I want to thank Jen. I want to thank Tammy. I want to thank everyone who's going, like, Bri, what is going on? We're all over you trying new stuff, but this sounds just like crap. So I'm very excited to be with you here live. And I have to tell you, if you got up this morning and listened through that, let me apologize for that. Let me apologize for missing you. We got a lot to get to today. I'm getting slammed on Facebook. I love it. No, not manscaping. Hold on. What? That's none of your business. Oh, I'm mansplaining. I'm mansplaining. Apparently, didn't even know what the term was until early this morning, but I'll tell you all about that. But so I'll apologize for mansplaining afterwards. But I really do want to apologize for Friday. Ever so often, we have these TV commercials, they just call and they go, hey, can you be here in the morning? And I'm like, I really do have it in my heart of doing these shows live every morning. So, right, I like the idea of thinking that they're baked fresh. Made. Remember that old time to make the coffee? I think it was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And the guy's just beat, but he gets up every morning and does it. That's what I like all natural being to be. In the moment. Improvisational, if one would. You will. You know where I'm going with that. So I take it to heart that we get up early every morning. I get up early every morning. You get up about as early, I suspect. But we're up. I produce these shows by myself. Then we go live. So when a television station calls or I've got to go do something, it's like, oh, I don't have one in the can. But here's what I've started to figure out. I'm going to have to get over myself. Hard to be, I know. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to record a couple and have them in the can so that if I do get called out, I don't think it's going to happen for a while, but if I do get called out to do TV, all the craziness going on in the world, right? You never can tell when they're going to call you. Like a bat phone, the phone rings, you got to go, right? But I'm thinking I'll record some. But here's the thing. I'm never going to act like they're live. I'll say in the moment, hey, this is a recording. I had to run out. In 82 and a half episodes now, Nature is never even called during the hour show. So I've been really lucky. So I should come up with a little something, maybe a musical riff, something that if I have to dart out to the washroom, I'll put on a song. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, something short and sweet. Billy Joel. I don't know. We'll find something. Oh, maybe the Commodores. That would be one. In any event, I think what we'll do is we'll record a couple so that you don't have to keep tuning in and have people and have them say, hey, I'm on the road or I don't have a signal or this or that, and we'll have a really nice pre-produced show. But I'll always let you know in advance, hey, this is a knockoff. This isn't coming to you live. It's pre-produced. But I think that would be better. But by all means, hey, if you're up, you're near a phone, give me a text now. It's like middle of the day. This is great. It's not before sunup. 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL. Someone asked me the other day, like the soles of your feet? I guess, but I just thought we would use SOUL. So text me, 331-684-SOUL. We have so much to get to do. I'm so excited. Let's see, I apologize for Friday. I apologize that we'll have some tape spots. Oh, apologize again for this morning. It's just crappy. It's just embarrassing. Matter of fact, I even deleted it. I don't even want to be reminded of it, right? It's like, people give me a hard time. They go, do you ever watch yourself when you're on TV? Nope. Never watch yourself on Good Morning America? Nope. Early show? Nope. Fox? Nope. I don't like to see myself. I'm just like, once it's done, it's done. But this morning when it was over, I go, I better listen to that just in case. And it was horrible. The connection and the static and everything else. So again, thanks to Tammy, thanks to Oliver, thanks to Jen, thanks to everyone, thanks to Ashley, everyone who let me know that it was going south on me early on, which afforded me the luxury to finish up the show. I was, kind of just like, into every life, a little static must fall, I guess. So I went out for a nice long run, came back, had some breakfast, thought, ooh, I could get into this. Not having to go on live till 10 Central, 11 Eastern, have my whole morning in front of me, sleep in. Well, for me, sleep in to maybe 5 o'clock. This is great. So we don't know. We're going to have to keep talking about this and see what's going on. It's a work in progress, but good. It was messy. Sure, why not? I'm getting a text, I know exactly what we're doing. Sure, it's a work in progress. Where is that? Okay, well, give you an idea how new. You'd think after 82 and a half episodes, I learned just not to read blanket texts out on air before, which is right. Okay, now they're going to say who it is. Oh, you dope. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yes, it is a bit messy, but still. I don't know how I'm getting this number. It came up on someone's number I don't recognize. But thank you very much for that. So I'm still learning. And, okay, hold on. Yes, everyone else come in. I am a dork. See, word's getting out. Who says advertising for this show doesn't work? I am a dork. Can't spell, well, you can't spell dork with anything in Brian, but you can't spell Brian without the I in idiot, without the N in nincompoop. If I'm allowed to still keep my clean rating, I'm not even looking at the phone. If I'm allowed to keep my clean rating, then I could say you can't spell Brian without, I know who it is. I would say you can't spell Brian without the B in boob. But I'm not sure if I can say boob because we're trying to keep a clean rating for iTunes. Hey, if you get a chance, speaking of iTunes, we're over at iTunes. So head on over and let me know what you think. And by that, I'm kind of like saying, hey, between you and me, give me a 5-star rating. Oh, listen, this is it. I'm enjoying the interaction this morning doing it this time frame. I think I'm going to have to call Jen and get Matt on the phone when we're done, redo my contract. I think I might be coming live in this time slot from now on. I'm loving this. So please keep the text coming, 331-684-7685. I'll be buying the new website right after, brianisadork.com. You'll be able to reach me there. This is too much fun. Okay, so before I get too far into it, if that hasn't already happened, what am I doing here? Well, it's not too bad. 8 minutes in. I'm doing good. So, got to tell you, and thank you very much for Sue for the texts. Thank you also, Tammy. Thank you very much. Ashley, thank you. 331-684-7685. Once I get better one day, I will be taking live calls as well. Now, it's going to be easier because it's so much, you know what I mean? It's so much nicer to have people texting in and calling in because they're not sound asleep. You know what I mean? Oh, here's another one. Don't sweat it. It was a good excuse to have you on. Thank you very much, my friends. I'm glad to be here. As you could probably tell, maybe going out for a run, a workout is good for me before this gets going. So let me tell you, I'm in trouble on Facebook. I've been accused. Well, everyone, you get called a loser all the time on Facebook, right? If that's not breaking news. I haven't lead with that. But now I've been accused of mansplaining. Oh, you know what? I'm getting a text from the home office, from the boss. I might be able to live at 11 a.m. Eastern, they're saying. Never can tell. Let's keep let's flood IPM Nation going. We want Brian at 11. Where else can we tune in to watch a train wreck of a radio show or listen to a train wreck? Oh, yeah, I'm loving this. Speaking of watching, the computers are on the way. I've got all kinds of cool stuff. Next week, my block box arrives. The real, the refurbished, the everything that I wanted it to be. That's going to be here next week. What's the block box? If you haven't heard me talk about it, it is my bunker. I reached out to the people. Now, before bunker, everyone's like, oh, you're not getting a 50 caliber machine gun, are you? None of your business. But no, it's not that kind of bunker. My block box is designed. It is bulletproof, right, as you would want. It'll stop a 2x4 857,000 miles an hour. It's soundproof. It's windproof, bulletproof, soundproof, windproof. Oh, it blocks 100% of, it's a Faraday cage. It's a big walk-in, what do they call them, she shacks or man caves. It's a big Faraday cage that I get to hang out in, right? They designed it, decked out, so that with all the stories going on about your neurons and how perfect science builds them, right? How perfect silence helps build neurons. How your brain goes, it's awful quiet. There's nothing going on. I'm bored. I think I'll build some more neurons. So my block box will be here next week. I'll be broadcasting to the degree I can, right? It's a Faraday cage. Won't be getting a signal out. But I'll be putting up pictures and I'll be doing all the thing. So I'll be starting, which is another good reason. Thank you. I just got a text. We're going to do a hashtag Brian at 11. I love it. Any of my friends listening that are on Twitter, hit them up. I'll send it to the bosses at the home office. So we'll say, oh, yeah, there's an upswell. Yeah, there's a coup going on here at IBM Nation. I don't know what's on at 11 a.m. on Station 1, because I'm not doing Station 2. Let's just be honest. It's got to be Station 1. So keep that hashtag Brian at 11. Let the bosses know there's an uprising. There's a coup in a compound in the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. Heading up a coup. All right, so here's what's happened on Facebook. Speaking of coups. As I'm sure you know, when you're on Facebook, right, people can post stuff on your feed. Is that how it's like? It's on your feed or in your feed, whatever, however you call it. So I happened yesterday to be coming on. I did a bunch of reading, wanted to take some notes, and so I decided to come on Facebook. And when I got there, there was a video. It was a really impressive video of Luke Aikens. Now, he's the guy that set, well, it's got to be a record. I don't know who did it from 20,000, but he did it from 25,000 feet. He skydiver without a parachute. And the name of he called it stunt, I guess, is called Heaven Sent, S-E-N-T. He leaps 25,000 feet above the Earth's surface with no parachute. Right, and everything's great. I don't want to ruin it for you, in case you haven't seen the video. I think he ended a little to the right. I think in his net setup, he didn't hit it dead center. Who am I to critique, right? I'll barely jump off a balcony. So he did it a little bit to the right. I was a little nervous there towards the end, but he did it. He survived. It was amazing. Now, before you think, oh, Brad, let's just not all just start jumping out of airplanes. There was a whole ground crew. He's jumped over 18,000 times. He's performed all kinds of stunts, including some for Iron Man 3, which I'm not sure if I've seen that movie. I've seen some Iron Man, and everybody's fallen from the sky in one of the episodes. So he does this, and he's a bigwig in the sky. He's a third-generation skydiver. His family has a place near Tacoma, Washington, and he knows his stuff. And if you look at it, they had 4 massive cranes, npr.org. Head over to npr.org. Unless you're listening on the computer, and if you head over, then you're going to cut off my voice. Then just slow your roll, would you? You can see the pictures in 45 minutes. After the show, head over to npr.org. It's an amazing setup. So he jumps, and he makes it. He survives. Sits there, has a meditative moment, you can tell, lying motionless in the one of 2 nets that were designed to catch him. And then he jumps down, hugs his wife, hugs everybody. So here's the scoop. I'm on Facebook, and I fall for it, right? Because I'm a dope, as I've said. So I see someone had posted on Facebook a video, because I hadn't seen it yet. Posted a video of this jump. Someone, let me just go back because I want to make sure. I don't want them to feel, I called it manscaping earlier. I want to make sure I'm getting the term right. It's mansplaining. I don't even want to tell you who it is because I don't want her feeling embarrassed, or her younger, I'm assuming younger, sidekick guy. Don't want to throw anyone under the bus. So I'm glued to this video and I'm watching, and I'm like, wow, there's the airplane, and they got a little graphic, and he's falling closer and closer to the Earth, and the graphic shows he's getting closer, closer, closer. A couple million people have seen this thing. So I'm into it. He survives. Just my heart was racing watching him jump. I got friends that jump. I got family that jumps. Everybody jumps around here. So I'm watching. I'm gripped. And I, without even thinking about it, I type amazing on a post. I'm thinking it was in my feed, right? That's how I saw it. I think that's how Facebook works. That's how it comes. It's not like I went looking for this person. Well, I didn't think of it. I'm watching the video and I post amazing. And then all of a sudden, I look up and it says, what an idiot. I go, oh, okay. So I'm taking it. Some people aren't really fans. And then, because I don't know any better, they reply back, no, Brian. And I made a mistake of simply suggesting that fearing death is one way to go. Not fearing death is the greatest compliment we can pay life, right? Forget Denial of Death by Becker and his book that everyone's freaked out because we all know we're going to die, so we live, in this frail little paper mache version of ourselves. I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all. Not for all of us. Some people in the hive, the herd, whatever you want to call it. Some people do, but you and I don't. So I put it up, and then I get sigh, and she says, mansplaining on my wall. Another sigh. I had no clue. I had no clue what mansplaining was. So again, being a dope, I just said, I'm not familiar with the term. And then the wheels came off. So I thought I would take a moment to read to you mansplaining. According to Wikipedia, mansplaining is sexist. And it's a way a man will explain something to a woman in a demeaning, if you buy into that you can be demeaned or a derogatory or a condescending. I guess if you're a pincushion and you buy into that condescending thing, it's considered snotty, which is laughable because if I want to be snotty, there's so many better ways for me to do it than that way. But in any event, so I'm accused of mansplaining and called, it went on from there. Which, the only reason I'm setting this up is to tell you another story, apparently, which is mansplaining. Sorry. Just spit all over my monitor. Mansplaining. So, not too long ago, a friend of mine calls and says, hey, I got a meeting, I got a client you got to talk to. He needs some help. He's running for something. Doesn't matter. We need some help writing a speech. Could you come and see him? Could you come and hang out? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the text. I am digging 11. I have to tell you, this is cool. I really am. I'm liking it a lot. So, and I'm sure my producer is going to like it a lot because we're even bringing on a producer and there's no way in hell she wants to get up every morning at 4 o'clock. So I'm thinking this might work out good. I don't know. I'm reading the tea leaves, thinking this might be a good, right? It might be something good here. So in any event, I agree to go to this meeting. So I show up at the local coffee shop, like 7:30 in the morning, right after the show's over. And I don't, as you can imagine, me on coffee just wouldn't work. So I don't drink it. I don't. So I get there, and there's a young woman, sitting in one, like a tall, it's a coffee shop, so I don't think you'd call them a bar stool, but you get where I'm going. A tall stool, and my friend is right next to her, and this new client, alleged, might be one day client is sitting there, and then there's an open chair, so I take the chair to the right, and we're yucking it up, and Kevin, I don't want to give away the place, let's just call it two guys and a goat for this coffee shop, let's say. And Kevin, who's the bartender, always takes care of me, brings me a glass of ice water right away. Great guy. Hysterical. I love just joking with him back and forth. So we're sitting there, my friend introduces me to his friend, and we're talking. And all of a sudden, the young lady to my left, who's wearing a mini skirt, right? It shows like half her thighs, most of her knees, all of her legs. And here's the only reason I'm going into describing the skirt is because I didn't know what mansplaining was a few hours ago, right? So I want to make sure that I'm not calling it a miniskirt if that's not what it is, but like half her thigh is showing, all of her knees, all of her legs down to her heels. All right? So, honest to goodness, she looks over at my friend who works for an outdoor agency, let's say, as an engineer. So it's summertime. It's like 185 degrees here in the shade, in Illinois. And he's got on shorts, really nice shorts. They probably have like a cuff trim on the shorts. Really nice shorts. Got a pair of socks, running shoes, knowing him. Right? And the young lady says, XYZ, could I tell you something? And my ears kind of perk up a little bit. And she goes, I really don't think it looks very professional showing your legs when you have to go to work. I don't think you should be wearing shorts. So just me being me, right? The pre-mansplaining understanding, Brian, I kind of spit my water out a little bit. And everyone kind of turns and looks at me, and I said, do you see the irony at all in the fact that you're wearing a skirt, and it looks great, very professional, let me say. You look fantastic. You're wearing a skirt, but you're slamming a guy for basically wearing culottes. I think that's what they're called. Anyone, 331-684-7685. I think they're called culottes. Right, like a kilt. Shorts, men's shorts. But he's showing, technically, because his shorts were a little longer, he's showing less leg than this woman, and he's got socks on, not heels. So he's got running shoes and socks. So he's even showing less skin. So I simply, Brian, being a dope, reach out and say, do you find that ironic that you're wearing no clothing from mid-thigh down, and you say that it's unprofessional for him to dress in a similar fashion? Does that sound a little sexist to you? All right, so here's where the wheels came off the bus. It was me joking. I simply asked a question. I didn't say you were being sexist. Well, not right then. Right. Once she blew up and said, well, that's not being sexist, it's just my opinion. To which I responded, oh, so because it's your opinion, that means it's not sexist? Your opinion just negates everything that it could possibly be construed as? And you'd think, after all these years, I would have just finished drinking my water and walked away. And she goes, well, that's my opinion. It's not sexist. Now the young lady behind the bar says, right, she's the cookie baker in the morning, comes up with her pot of coffee, I guess, but she's going to refill her coffee. She goes, well, it's not being sexist. Men and women aren't supposed to, there's different ways, acceptable ways of dress. And again, can't spell Brian without the I, an idiot. It doesn't matter to me what's been normal. The fact of the matter is that you say one thing goes one way based on something different because of whether someone is male or female. And I simply asked if you saw the irony. Well, the girl's face turns all red, and I'm sure she would have said mansplaining if she knew the term or knew that I didn't know the term. So she's just livid. The girl at the end of the bar folds up her laptop, goes and walks away, and I said, look, it was a joke. I just asked if you appreciated the irony. Folds up the laptop, walks away. About 2 minutes later, the girl behind the counter comes down, looks at a patron that sat to my right and says, well, I like you. I'll give you a free refill. Shot me the dirtiest look and then walked away. Which leads me to today's show. Skydiving, mansplaining, and the young lady at the coffee counter. Now, this would be a really good time because I've got people listening. This would be a great time for me to apologize. And for those of you that have listened to me all these years, let me say to the two women at the coffee counter, let me also say to the young lady and the young gentleman yesterday on Facebook that accused me of pointing out a simple irony. Let me just say, the hell with you. I'm not apologizing. Grow some skin. Get a petri dish. Do whatever you got to do to get the natural thickness of human skin back. That's what irony is. That's what comedy is. If you can't take it, if everything someone says to you offends you, we got to get you some thicker skin. We got to get you a backbone with some. Here we go. Here come the text. Now I'm in trouble. All right. Well, phone lines are open. Yeah, I'm taking this at 11 a.m. I'm in. You will never, ever hear me again at 7 a.m. Unless it's, of course, the tape thing. We got to work that all out. So let me just say this. That's what comedy does. See, comedy is for adults. Comedy is for people that don't have paper mache for skin, right? It's for people that have a spine that isn't made of balsa wood. But here's what dawned on me. Because we have an opinion, right? Everyone thought this guy that jumped from the airplane was nuts. Well, I don't know him. He could be nuts. He could be as crazy as I am. A Looney Tune. But I think he had courage to do it. Now, he practiced that courage 18,000 times. And just let me take the opportunity to mention that this particular person on Facebook, not giving out any information, all about horses. The big Facebook banner page is a horse. She's got this particular person is being kissed by 2 horses. I don't know, something. Oh, the Facebook page. So, heaven forbid, why let logic taint the process? I simply had mentioned in the post, probably, right before I was unfriended or defriended, whatever it is, marked. I'm surprised I still have a Facebook account this morning. If this was Twitter, I'd already be gone, apparently. I simply called to attention that more people are killed every year by horses than die skydiving. So maybe the person riding the horse is more of a daredevil than the person jumping out of an airplane. Well, why let truth taint the process? Forget that. So here's what we're going to do for the remainder of a show that I am absolutely loving. Our opinions are not a part of us. Our attitudes aren't an appendage. What we think, other people are allowed to attack. They're allowed to say whatever they want. It's not us. It's not us. Now, in fairness, what is that old thing? If you're a hammer, you look at everything like a nail, right? In fairness, maybe I look at everything that way because I grew up, I was born with a hair lip, which at the time I was born, like in 1890, right? They didn't know how to fix hair lips. Or they waited a good amount of time, right, to see if it would a natural growth would be or this or that. So I'm running around without an upper lip, right, looking like my own version of an infant episode. And for all the people that have hair lips, you're welcome to send me the emails, whatever. I'm just saying, you and I both know that before we had our surgery, we look like walk-ons for The Walking Dead, like infant walkers, right? So let's just admit that's how we look. It wasn't all that great a look for us. But then we have the surgery, we get it fixed, we do what we can, right? So all my life, I had to learn very early on not to let the opinions of other people bug me. I had a hair lip, and I'm not particularly that great looking of a guy either. So it's like, and let me also mention, I get skin cancer about once every 45 minutes. So I've got scars from where they've cut the latest round of skin cancer off me. And you should also know, last time I had skin cancer surgery, I celebrated by crossing Death Valley at 140 degrees. 40 miles. What an idiot. In any event, so I've grown up with people always having snotty things to say to me. So I either built a thick skin or I never learned how to let my skin fade, right? How to let it thin out, right? Like how to let my spine, my backbone, go from being the size of, say, a softball bat down to a pool cue, and then like a soda straw, and then like a piece of a strut from a balsa wood airplane. I didn't let my spine go that way because I couldn't. I was constantly being bullied. I will also say to you, was the beginning of my start in martial arts, right? Because after I lost my first fight to a bully, I was pretty sure I was never going to lose another fight again, and one way to do that was to go into martial arts. All I'm suggesting is is that if you and I realize, not this isn't for everyone. We talk about all natural being may not be for you. But please keep the mansplaining, or in this case, it would be womansplaining, I guess. Is that a term? Oh, now, Brian, don't be sexist. Womansplaining. You and I aren't touched by that. We have all natural being. We have thick skin. We know that our opinions are just that. We could toss them out tomorrow morning and have brand new opinions. So why go to guns? Why draw swords? Why get into a boxing match with an inferior intellect? Not saying anyone that I've dealt with in these past two stories, here's a disclaimer, was an inferior intellect, slip of the tongue, Freudian, as it were. All I'm simply suggesting is that we develop a little bit thicker skin. We realize that our opinions are just that, right? It's our opinions are just like a burp, right? We burp out an opinion. It's not necessarily us, so let people attack them. What do you and I care? What do you and I care? All right, so, sorry, there went half the show. Let me do this real quick. Assuming I still have a gig here. We'll be right back.
IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com, the former home of Brian Brawdy, right before he went down his mansplaining thing. All right, so today's anaerobic aphorism. I'm loving it. Chaos is nothing more than an invitation for you to impose your unique brand of order. Right? Chaos, uncertainty, all the mashugana in the world. That's simply, here's an invitation. Open here, please. This is directed for you to come in and corral the storm. Be the port. Be your own port in the storm. That's the beauty of uncertainty. That's the beauty of chaos. You get to come in and go, at ease. I'll be in the area all day. I'll take care of this, right? And when you tap into your all-natural being, makes it easy to do. So that's why in our 3 segments today, and we'll go through them rapid fire. Segment number 1, I'm game. I think it's 3 words, or 2 words with a hyphen. I'm game. So if anyone wants to teach me a term like mansplaining, you're welcome. If you've ever read any of my blog posts, I could use some help in grammar as well. So go ahead, 331-684-7685, or hit me up, All Natural Being. RevivingSuperhumans.com is another one. We got this whole thing with metahumans coming. Wait till you see that. So go ahead and hit me up over there. Leave me an email. I'll send you one back. We'll be hooking up that way. Over on Twitter, thanks for all the people tweeting out. Hashtag Brian at 11. Appreciate it. As soon as I can figure out how to do this and Twitter, I'll go over there and retweet that. But here's what we're going to do. Hook up. Let me know what you think of these 3 segments. Segment number 1, I'm game. Calling it Leveling Up in the Labyrinth. Because everything you've ever needed, you've always had. Ever. Needed. Always had. No, but that sounded like this morning's radio show, did it? You thought there was like a delay. Never. Had. Always. Wait for it. Needed. All right, segment number 2. Happiness as a natural resource. And here we're going to be talking about how presence, acceptance, and vulnerability, I know the V word gets slammed, but how having those things, actively embracing those things, increases your peripheral vision. Up, down, left, right, all around. Gives you like 360. You got the eyes of an owl, of a hawk. And then in segment number 3, life. Let me ask you, is it an occupational hazard? You and I are inundated with information. The bottom line, we decide junk or jewels. As this information comes in, you and I get to pick. Right? I say all the time, I'm not going to embrace the suck. We're going to engage it. Keep it at arm's length. Hey, just stay right where you are. This is kind of like my little personal, right? We got an ego shield. I don't need your crap just yet. I'll decide junk or jewels. If it's junk, I'm leaving you alongside of the highway. Throw in some gravel. I'll see you in the rearview mirror in like 6 seconds. But if it's good, if it's something I can use, if it helps further the release of my all-natural being, my meta-human, my superhuman, right? We channel that. We're into our all-natural being. What better position to decide if the incoming information is junk and jewels? We don't want to be making that decision if we're not coming at it from our all-natural being. Our meta-humanness. Got to work on that term. superhuman-ish mindsets. All right, let's get to it. Oh, let's do this real quick so I can take a sip. Oh, man, I think I forgot to bring water. Hold on. I got a bottle of it here somewhere.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
How much longer are we going to let them hijack our heads and our hearts? And by them, I mean the crazy people outside and also those little crazy voices that you and I have inside. Let's admit from time to time, we're not our biggest fan. We're not our own best friend. We can be beating ourselves up from time to time. But why jump on the bandwagon? As is evident, just throw out an opinion on Facebook. Wait to see the people that attack you if that's not a standard part of your day already, right? Yes. Craziness. But you and I share that on the inside as well. So let's just agree. We'll use the best acronym. Breathe in, exhale, scan the horizon. Then think, then talk, then take action, then say thank you. In that moment, when you and I decide, we control the labyrinth. We're in the driver's seat. Which leads us to segment number 1. Finally, come on, Brian. Underlay. We got to go. And I'm calling it I'm Game. Leveling up in the labyrinth. And here's the thing. When you operate from your meta-humanness, your superhuman status, your all-natural being, when you say I'm game, I'm in. And here's why. You either say I'm in or admit that you're already tapping out. Whatever the labyrinth throws at us, whatever life brings, whatever fate tries to do to derail us from our destiny, what do you say to fate when it shows up? I'm game. I'm in. Bring it. Bring it, sister. Bring it, brother. However you look at fate when it shows up, just say, bring it. I got you covered. Nothing you can do to knock me off. What do you think I am? Everything you've ever needed, you've always had to confront fate. And the beautiful thing about saying I'm game, I get a lot of emails about the labyrinth. And I go, oh, Brian, the labyrinth, it's kind of a hard concept to comprehend. Oh, it's a really hard concept to comprehend because it's not static. It's dynamic. Every time, every instant you say to the universe, you're in the labyrinth. I'm in. I'm game. Here we go. Bring it. And fate goes, oh, yeah, you think you're in? Think you can bring it? Well, how about this? Every time you say I'm game and you take that shot, you level up in the labyrinth. That labyrinth is not the labyrinth it was a moment ago, nor was your life. Every time you say yes to the adventure at hand, every time you do improv, every time you go, this isn't an expedition, who knows where I'm going to end up?
Oh, I got a 10-year plan. I have a bucket list. I do. I'm going to get all these things knocked off my bucket list.
No bucket list. No 10-year plans. Make your bucket list whatever the universe throws at you right now in this moment. That's the adventure. That's the improv. That's the beauty. That's the magic. That's the majesty. God or gravity. We were given a human brain. A human brain. Human brain. However you define the divine. Took a little bit of crap last week with this one, but it's my new favorite line. I don't care if you're dropped off here by the Almighty, by the aliens, by gravity, or the Greys, I guess if you believe in the aliens. It doesn't matter to me how you think you got here. It should matter to you. It should be vital. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but it should be vital to who you are and your belief structure. But it's none of my business. I support you no matter what you believe. So think about it. Whatever the labyrinth throws up in the moment, how are you going to confront it? Are you going to confront it with your tail between your legs? Are you going to say no? Because we don't get to say no to life. That's the thing about life. It'll just keep coming. So what do? You and I got to go, grip. It's windy. Let's pop a sail. Let's get into it. Because everything we've ever needed, we've always had. There's no reason to be afraid. Nobody. Oh, well, the uncertainty scares me.
Oh, I don't know if I could do it, Brian. I really don't.
Sure you can. Sure you can. You do it every day. You may not look back at it at the end of the day, but you handled uncertainty. What is it now? It's like 11:39 East Coast time. There's not a person alive that knows what'll be going down in 20 minutes. You don't know. But I know that 4 hours from now, you'll look back on 20 minutes from now and go, you know what? I handled that. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So however you define your divine, You are the great, 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 great grandchild of that divine. You are, what does Jason Silva call it? A cosmic poetry. You are the fractal of the universe itself. No spiritual BS, no Pollyanna philosophy. It's the science of it. We're all connected. There's dirt in your DNA. However, you define your divine. You're a part of the very energy that fuels the universe. So you're going to use that energy to sit in the corner, cower, and go, oh no, not me. I'll pass on this one. No, we say, I'm game. I'm in. And regardless of the challenge, regardless of what's thrown at you, you look at fate and go, is that all you brought? Which leads me to segment number 2. Happiness as a natural resource. We're going to talk about how presence, acceptance, and yes, even vulnerability. People go, I don't want to be vulnerable. Different type of vulnerability we're going to focus on here for the next 5 minutes. But how all those things increase your peripheral vision. Now, if I hadn't rambled on and on and on about my mansplaining, I love that term, mansplaining. In any event, and women's planning, I don't want to be sexist, because I'm sure it goes both ways. Oh, if I hadn't rambled on about that, we could spend a little more time with all of these different research studies. But if you would, I'm asking, just trust me for a couple minutes, and know that over the last 6 months, I've read 50 books just on the concept of happiness. You have my word. 50 books. It's like all I ever do. And defend attacks on Facebook now. Apparently.
What an idiot. You're a loser.
Ay, 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 ay. All the studies have shown that happiness is indigenous to who you are. And that all these people, all these years, thinking, oh, if I work hard, if I do this and this and this and this and this, and then one day I'll be happy. All of these research studies, all of these doctors, all of these people saying that in order to be successful, you have to be happy first. It's not, oh, once I'm successful, then I'll be happy. We're talking chicken or the egg. Well, not really, because these research tests tell us what's the cart and what's the horse. The horse pulling the cart of success is our own happiness. Why? People go, oh, Bri, right, that's just you being optimistic. I'd rather have you call me a mansplainer. Well, I'm not being optimistic. This isn't about being optimistic or pessimistic. It's about being just is. You confront the moment. The moment confronts you. You're a badass already, whoever you are. I know that about you. That's why I say all the time, I'm on your side, even in those occasions when you're not. Because I know there's an all-natural being. I know there's a metahuman. I know there's a superhuman in you. And when we embrace it, when we're happy, it increases our peripheral vision. When we accept, when we're present to the moment, when we say to the universe, just bring it, stop your whining and bring it. I'm here to manifest the destiny, and I'll be damned if you're going to derail me. Right? That's the attitude. That's what we take. We bring it and go, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Whatever you got, I'm vulnerable. Let's have it. Because you and I know that our line in the sand, we know our fallback position is our all-natural being when we're untouchable. So when we say yes, the universe goes, wait a minute. I think she's on to this. She understands how this game is rigged. Universe is like, wow, he found us out. Mayday, mayday, dive, dive. Right? You and I know, yes, how to play it. We accept everything. Now, that doesn't mean we're passive. Doesn't mean we get beat. We decide in the moment. We'll get to here very quickly in segment 3, junk or jewels. But for right now, just know that when you say yes to life, life says yes to you. When you tap into your soul sap, the universe goes, I got more sap for you. Here, let me refill that shot glass. Let me refill that reservoir of yours, because you get it. Which leads us into segment 3. Life, oh, is it an occupational hazard? You and I are inundated, whether we turn on, however we are. Look, I don't want to slam social media. I'm not slamming anything. I'm simply saying, even if you and I if you were to come and sit with me in the block box, couldn't hear anything other than building new neurons. Very cool, right? we'd still be inundated with all of our sense organs. Even if it's totally dark, totally quiet, it's a Faraday cage, nothing gets through, we're still going to be somewhat receptive to what our body says. We can feel our own breath and the like. Now, as you extend that outwards in the labyrinth, and remember, every time you say yes in the labyrinth, it tweaks itself. It's a different labyrinth. You level up, just like a video game. You level up in the labyrinth. Now you got a whole new labyrinth ahead of you. And all this information is just piling in on us. And that's where the ego shield comes in. Because you can take the information of people saying you're a mansplainer or a womansplainer. Or you can go, nah, that's junk. I'm waiting for the jewels. Right? Because it's all about energy in your brain. If we want to go all scientific on it, it's energy. And if you want to use your brain's energy to be a junk collector, why would you want to do that? I don't suspect you do, or you wouldn't be listening to the show. What are we, 82 and a half episodes? You wouldn't have been putting up with me this long if that's what you truly believed. Don't be a junk collector. Let these other people carry their own baggage. Now, if you're a jewel collector, you look at the information coming in and say, okay, great. How can I use this to help further my all-natural being? How can I use this to release my inner superhuman, my inner metahuman? How can I do it? Now, the short answer for that, as you and I know, is gratitude. Here's a good drill. And I do it in the mornings, even before I get into the block box. I got my own version of it now, but this new one coming, I mean, I have pictures of like 2x4s being launched at it from a machine. It's like a tank. But I get up in the mornings, before I can even get out of bed, before my feet even hit the floor. I always say thank you. Gratitude. Without a target, right? Because you define your divine. And whether you believe Big Bang or Big Breath, we can have a sense of thankfulness. We can have a sense of gratitude for being here still. We're alive. Soon to be, unless you hit the snooze button, soon to be vertical. We're alive. We can be thankful for that. But here's the gig. And this is why happiness, the underlying state of happiness, guarantees, which is why happiness is one of your natural resources. It's gratitude is the grease of the human mind. Happiness is the underlying fuel of all your other natural resources. Because when we do that, then our vision is open. Our minds are open. All of our senses are open in the labyrinth. We see the clues. We see the tips. We see the things that are left behind, the fingerprints of providence that allow us to ultimately be successful. But if we look at life as an occupational hazard,
Oh, life's full of junk.
that's like grab a toilet. Let me just say to clean up the act. How about a paper towel roll? Grab a paper towel roll and look through it. You see, like, okay, it's about the size of a golf ball, right? You look through that. You don't see anything else going on around it. But when you bring happiness to the moment, when you bring thankfulness to the moment, when you bring acceptance, going, I'm not going to say no to anything. Now, if I have to defend myself in the moment, then of course I'm going to defend myself in the moment. I'm not going to be one of these punching dummies, one of these weebles, let people keep punching me, all right, so I can pop back up and take another pin. I'm not going to be it that way, but vulnerable to the information coming in. I'll absolutely agree to that vulnerability. Why? Because it increases our peripheral vision. 360. We can see everything. We can hear, we can feel, we can sense what's going on in the labyrinth so that you and I get to level up. We're not going to stand outside of the labyrinth and go,
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to jump from 25,000 feet because this lady on Facebook is going to call me an idiot.
right? You jump. And that's what gratefulness brings. It's the grease of our minds. It's the grease of our grit. And happiness. As I've said before, everyone says, oh, love makes the world go round. I think gratitude makes the world go round. Acceptance, saying, I'm game, I'm in. Let the herd tap out. Let the hive tap out. Let all the thin-skinned balsa wood folks. Let them all tap out. I'm in. You and I get to level up in the labyrinth. And that's the thrill of life. Not an occupational hazard. We decide in the moment what's the junk, what's the jewels. What's the craziness, and what's worth holding on to. And that's what makes every day, that's what makes the uncertainty of every day such a freaking blast in the labyrinth. Because what can ultimately happen to us? So every morning, what if you were to just go over a few things that made you happy? I don't know if you can hear my stomach growl. You know why? Because what popped to mind, even a small thing, what makes me happy? Cannolis. There's a place right down the street that makes them fresh. That's the truth be told. Yeah, honestly, because my stomach growled, and I was like, okay, if you were going to make your list right now, Brian, no BS, what would it be? I said cannolis. They're great. I'm telling you, they're fantastic. And you get like 2 for $5. So whenever I look at change now, I don't look at change like as a pile of change. I look at it at what percentage of a cannoli I can get. In any event, suppose you had, which is why I always sleep. Well, let me say this. Most times I sleep with like a tablet and a pen alongside my bed. But there's also some great free apps also for your smartphone or maybe a tablet, something like that. Okay? Where I'll just hit it real quick and I can record right into my phone the thought that comes to me, either in a dream or when I get up in the morning. Right? Nature calls, I got to get up during the middle of the night. If there's anything that's on my mind, I just record it real quick. I record it down so I'll have it. And if you did the same thing with what are the things that make you genuinely happy? What are those things? And here's what I've learned about the mind in 30 years of being a detective, a cognitive detective. Once your mind, that portion of your mind latches on to something that makes you happy, it wants the next step. It wants the next piece of the puzzle. It wants the next tangent. So I promise you, you have my word. By the time you get to the third thing on your list, the third thing that will make you happy, floodgates are open.
Oh, and you say, well, Brian got to put down cannoli. If he puts down cannoli,
I could put down anything I wanted. And then our mind sets about to find other things that we could add to our list. And sometimes the ego, sometimes that part of ourselves that beats ourselves up wants to go, oh no, life's brutal. Don't listen to this guy. He's crazy. And then that's energy. That's the energy our brain is using to buy in to the ego's BS. Or you could hijack that energy for yourself and make a list of things that you're truly happy for. What would be on your list? Think about it. I'm here. Another 6 minutes. Having the time of my life doing this at 11 a.m. We got another 6 minutes. What would you put on your list? What are you grateful for? And again, don't get hung up on who you're grateful to, unless you know automatically. God love you, universe love you, whatever it is. Greys love you. Maybe you've been brought here by aliens. Don't know. It's up to you. I'm simply saying the concept of gratitude without a target, that you could feel it. You're just like, yes, thank you for another in the labyrinth. What would you put on your list? And the researchers and the doctors now show us, have proven that when you're happy first, success does whatever it can to fall all over you. All over you. But that those of us that ignore our happiness, which is all it can be, right? If it's natural to us and we don't recall it, if we don't resource it, which means it's within us, if we don't resource it, then we're left with a vacuum. And we'll let unhappiness, we'll let unfulfillment, we'll let all these other things fill in. And then at least if we're getting some crazy opinions from people outside of us, at least we're getting something in. And the amnesia Our blind spots, they're the cause of that perforation. They're the cause of that vacuum. Which is why I ask all the time the three most important questions. Who are you? Followed up very quickly by, where are you? Where are you? Where the hell are you? And when you understand that you're the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchild of the divine, and where are you? The labyrinth of life. A labyrinth designed for you to level up at each and every turn. Left, rights, ups, downs, pivots, swerves, starts, stops, lunges, lapses. All cul-de-sacs, no dead ends, no blind alleys. Every turn is the right turn as long as you keep turning. When you say, I'm game, I'm in, what occupational hazard? And when we remember who we are, where we are, and the third part of the question is, what the hell are you going to do about it now? You know who you are. A skin bag full of natural resources. The rainbow ends in you. The pot of gold is in you. Where are you? You're in the labyrinth. And what is leveling up? Nothing more than the challenge for you to deploy your natural resources. It's a great gig. Everything you've ever needed, you've always had. That's what the hell you're going to do about it. You're going to remember who you are, where you are, and now what are you going to do about it? You're going to live life to your fullest. For everyone else that wants to argue, that wants to get in the fight because they're too scared, they're too timid, they're too thin-skinned to fulfill their destiny, then let them be. Let them be. If it doesn't, in that moment, if it's more junk than jewels, 86. No longer have time for that draining energy. Happiness is a natural resource. It's indigenous to you. And that's why I said in the anaerobic aphorism, chaos is nothing more than an invitation for you to impose your unique brand of order. Because when you remember who you are, you're here to quell the chaos. You're here to enter the storm and go, bring it. That's the love of life. That's the thrill. That's the magic and the majesty. And it happens every day. It happens in the little ways, the cannolis. It doesn't have to be mansions of stuff. It's in this moment, right now. The next 20 seconds. Breathe in, exhale, scan your horizon. Be thankful for everything you already have. I want to thank everyone that's participated this morning. 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL. Thank you for everyone on Facebook. I'll be checking out Twitter here in just a little bit, and I'm going to lobby really hard, see if I can stay at 11 a.m. But let me ask you this before I go. If we stay live at 11 a.m., it means the early morning show will be the rebroadcast, right? It'll be a day late. Right? So our morning show at 11 a.m. will be the live one. The following morning, you'll hear, right? Because you'll hear it at 8 p.m. that night, and then you'll hear it the following morning. I think that's what we're going to do if we can work that out. So if that really is something that doesn't grab you, we'll take a quick poll. Hang out over on Brian Brawdy Official at Facebook. Let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, hey, it's noon on the East Coast. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I look forward to hanging out with you tomorrow. Now, if it's 11 a.m., where you are, Central Time, hey, lunch just around the corner. Or, if you're Pacific, you get where I'm going with this. Wherever you are, however you're listening, live or later, this will be taped, however you're listening. Again, accept my apology for what a crappy show it was this morning in terms of audio quality, and we will start pre-recording some segments, so when I get called away to do some TV stuff, we're not going to have to worry about it. Next week we start with the new computers, the new cameras. There's going to be a video version of our show where you can actually in the studio with me while we're doing the show. And we'll also be doing some of the cool things from the Block Box, early morning meditations, late night, good night sound bites, that kind of thing. So we've got a big week that we're working on leading us into next week. So get out there. Bring your own bowl. The announcer's going to tell you that here in just a minute. So let me steal a little bit of his thunder. Bring your own bowl. Remember who you are. Remember where you are. No matter what befalls you between now and the next time we hang out, just look at it and go, I'm game. I'm in. Bring it. And have a fantastic day.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
Bring your own bold. You and I both know you were built for it. So let's get on with it.
IPMNation.com.